welcome to Vlogmas Day 9. And today we're having a little story time. You're gonna hear back into my life, back into when I was young and dumb. It is a long story, and this story is going to be stemming from a request. It was a request from one of my lovely subscribers who said they wanted to hear more about this because it stems from a jail video about the jail dip or whatnot. When I showed that recipe on my short about what was it, the noodles, the chili, and the chips. So it stems from that because I was like, you know, I was in a holding cell once, but that's another story for another day, and I'll give y'all story time on it. So I was like, hey, we want to hear about it. So here I am. I'm about to tell y'all all about me going to the holding cell. But I'm going to give you even more of that. And if you hear the rumbling and fumbling going on in my bathroom, my husband is taking a shower. So that's why you hear shower curtains and shower water running. I hope we don't hear unnecessary singing, but please bear with me because I'm trying to just kill every bird with one stone. I still have to cook after this, but I wanted to give y'all this story time. So anywho, yes, a little ghetto. I'm sorry y'all have to hear somebody taking a shower while I'm sitting on here giving y'all story time. But hey, the house isn't big enough, and this is like the quietest place in the house, which is in my room. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get started with this story time. All right, so I'm definitely gonna give y'all from like cover to cover. Like this is a whole damn book. Like just go ahead. This is a movie. Just go ahead, get your cover, wrap up in it, you know, snuggle on up and get ready, because when I said you this is long, it's not real long, but I'm giving you detail after detail. Like I'm not leaving nothing out. I'm not leaving a thing out. I'm going to tell you everything that happened, from me crying and shit, and this happened and how I got handcuffed. You gonna hear it all. You gonna hear it all. I'm not leaving nothing out. I'm not leaving a damn thing out. When you gonna hear story time from me, you gonna hear the story time from me. But anywho, you about to hear me about from before I went in the holding cell, so I got in the holding cell, so I left the holding cell. That's what you gonna hear. You gonna hear A, basically how I got into the holding cell, how I got arrested. You're going to hear B, me in the midst of being in the holding cell, and the happily ever after when I finally got out. You're gonna hear it all. I'm not leaving nothing out. So anywho, y'all, I was young, I was dumb. You know, Michael, my husband, he has not been in my life my entire adulthood. I could tell you that. You know, he's my second husband. You know, this other person I was with at the time was my boyfriend. But that is my ex-husband, the father of my 3 children. And at the time, I only had 2 by him. And I was the age of 23. Now, this person, which is the father of my children, he has a crazy rap sheet, like a long rap sheet for DUIs, you know, domestic, all that shit, you know. So at the time, I was living in a little housing complex or whatnot in Elkhart, Indiana. And this was 2008. It was 2008, and I think Kamaya was, what, 10 months old, and I think Jalen's had to be at least 2, about to go on 3 soon. He had to be about 2.5 at least. So basically we were planning on leaving because he'd been through court and everything. They told him to turn himself in. He didn't. It was for a DUI. He did not turn himself in. And I thought back then that was just the cutest thing. We like Beyonce and Jay-Z and everything, and yeah, and Bonnie and Clyde. Like, just dumb shit. Just dumb shit. I just love the bad boy facade. But anywho, so, you know, we were planning on leaving to go to Chicago, like move back home. Because, you know, Indiana, Chicago, I say Elkhart, Indiana is a good 2 hours away from Chicago. So we were planning, we were in the midst of leaving. Like we were going to leave in the next 2 days. We were going to be gone, like left, like whatever. We're not dealing with it. So, you know, it was just the norm day, And I don't know if we were going to leave that day. I'm not for sure. My mind is kind of foggy on that. I don't know if we were going to leave that day or not, but I never forget it. It was the way the townhouse, like how it was made, the apartment complex. It was an upstairs and a downstairs, and the upstairs I could look out of the back, out of the front of the complex. If you went over to the other part of the complex, where the bathroom and where my kids' room at, because I only had a 2-bedroom there, you can see the back. So I look out the window and I see 3 or 4 police cars. I didn't think nothing of it. This is supposed to be the projects. Them police cars can be there for anybody. Boom, 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 boom. I'm looking stupid. He's looking stupid. Now, we had guests at the time. It was his friend and it was his friend's girlfriend. They were there spending the night or whatnot. They were there probably for like a week. I don't remember how long they were there, but they were at our house. Now, so I don't know why everybody used to say this. I think they favor a little bit, but I don't think they look all the way alike. But a lot of people said that my baby daddy and his friend look just alike, and they could pass for twins. And the shit was funny to me, because I'm like, well, I guess the damn twin was the ugly twin, I guess. I don't fucking know, because I just don't see the damn resemblance. I didn't see it like that. Maybe they could have passed for cousins, but I just didn't see the brotherly twin part that everybody else seen. But listen to this, y'all. Boom, 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 boom. Knocking on the door, right? So they banging it. So I said, go look at the back, because we on our Bonnie and Clyde shit. He look up at the fucking back. The police is at the back too. So not only was they in front of the house, they was in the back of that. Y'all, this was for a damn DUI. And probably a bit more. Probably some drug cases too. So, yeah. I was a silly little girl. I could tell you that, silly little girl, because I could tell you right now, we probably had drugs in that house that he was selling. Yeah, I could tell y'all that. I was a silly little girl. Just a silly little girl. Anyway. Okay, so they banging and shit. And I'm like, so what we gonna do? Like, what are we gonna do? Because I'm looking at him stupid, like they banging on the door. They at the front and they're at the back. Eventually they gonna knock the door down. They don't give a damn. So, next thing you know, y'all. Next thing you know, and I can't make this shit up. I can't make this shit up. This man moves the fucking dresser out the way. And this is at the time where, Prison Break was hot. This motherfucking man started busting a damn hole into the next apartment. Now, we knew this lady next door. Now, he was real, tight, cool with her. Okay. I can't say, I don't know whether he was sleeping with her. I don't know if he was really cool, but I was jealous back then. I did not like this lady. When I think back on it, I'm like, damn, I wish she would have took him. I don't even know to this day whether they was together or not, but I don't think so. I think it was basically her friend, the girl next door or whatnot. He was messing around with another girl. I'm telling y'all, I got story times forever about that fucked up relationship. When I tell you I have story time on that, I've got the story time on it. I think the girl was living over at her house, and that's who he was going to see. But anywho, I'm not going into that. Let's stick with this story and not stick with other stories in it, because it's just a whole lot. That relationship, it was a whole lot. But anywho, so he started busting the door. He started literally he got a hole into the other house, and he went through that other. Could you imagine somebody breaking in? He called her too, and he was like, I'm about to bust a hole through your walls to come through your apartment because the police after me. And she was laughing on the phone okay, ha ha ha, yeah. This meant no, she didn't know the nut. She didn't know that nut. She didn't know him like I knew him. He said he gonna bust a hole through the damn wall. He's gonna do it. This man bust a hole through the wall, told me to move the dresser back over. And me being the young me, Bonnie and Clyde shit, I moved the dresser back over. So he said when I move the dresser back over, go open up the door and let them look through the house. And you know me, I did whatever he told me to do. Went downstairs, opened up the door. I could not even say nothing quick enough. This is what his crazy friend said. And you know what? I got to give it to him for saying that. It couldn't have been me though. I don't think I would have done that. Like, I love my friends, but I am not getting a record for you. I get a record for my kids. It's them. I will go and I will smile and whatever. Like, whatever. The mugshot smiling and all. But I ain't going to jail for my friend. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. So, his friend was like, I'm so-and-so. Said, you know, my ex-husband's name. And I'm looking stupid. Tell me why his girlfriend was like, yes, and I'm Camille. I can't make this shit up, y'all. I can't make it up. I don't know who I was supposed to be. I guess I was supposed to be them. I guess I was her. This wasn't my house. I didn't know what to say to that. So, he ended up leaving. They ended up locking him up. They believed it. They believed it. They looked through their system, looked at my ex-husband's ID, and they was like, yeah, come on. We locking you up. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, everything is going as planned. It's not going as planned, but this gives us enough time to get the hell up out of here. Like, this gives us enough time to leave up out of here before they even get back. Because, you know, they got to run his fingerprints. And once they find out he wasn't that person, they're coming back here. So I'm running around with a chicken with my head cut off. Oh, girl, you know, she there too. I'm packing up. I'm getting what I can. Hence, y'all, I had a damn 2.5-year-old and a 10-month-old with me. So I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off and shit. And before I could I'll never forget that ugly ass coat Jalen's had. It was like a brown coat. It was ugly ass. That coat was ugly. But anywho, before I can get that coat on him good, they came back in the door, knocking on the door. You know me, I'm scared. I let them in. So I let the damn people in or whatnot, thinking, okay, these people don't even have no warrant. They don't got shit. They just going through the house and my dumb just, where is it? Where is it? I'm like, I don't know what y'all talking about. Where is it? You know, they saying his name and shit. Eventually, they get upstairs because everything is chaos at this point. Everything is chaos. Kids sitting down and shit. And they look and they see. I guess they moved the dresser over. I don't know what made them move the dresser over, but they moved the dresser over. And they see, oh. Now, he already, you know what? Let me go back, y'all. When I tell you I'm leaving out some detail, I'm leaving out some detail. You gonna laugh this shit back.
I'm already laughing because I've heard the story.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Before the police even came, he came back through the hole. He came back through the number. He came back through the hole, y'all. This man put on some of my pants. He put on a shirt. He threw on a wig. Put on some makeup. Was the ugliest woman I ever seen. He even had the heels on. And he got up in his other friend's car and left us. And left us and said they was going to come back to get us. Because he didn't want a chance us being together. This is what I fell for, you know. He should have just went and hid in a bush somewhere and made sure we got out. But I already had a plan. I was going to go down to my friend's house. I was going to go down there. Remember the girl I was talking about in my other video when we was real tight? She was living in them complexes too. So, you know, I was going to go down to her house. So I was like, whatever. He left. But that's when then I'm going to fast forward back to what I was saying about how they came through the house looking for him. They end up finding the hole, y'all. And basically, that's how they said, you know what? This is what we gonna do. You got a minute to find someone to come and get your children, or they are going in CPS custody. That was the scariest shit of my life. When I tell you I was bawling, I was crying. I said, no, don't take my kids. And Indiana, they got a reputation about taking kids, especially brown ones. Yes. They love doing that. They love taking people's kids. And I knew I had to get out that racist ass state. Because Chicago, no. Even if they would have took your kids, they would have gave your kids the granny, they would have gave your kids the auntie. If they would have took my children, I would have had to go through classes. I would have had to go through hell back with my kids with just total strangers. They would have tried to keep my babies. Yeah, they would have tried to keep my pretty babies. I know they would have. So I was crying and shit. I was crying. I was like, don't take my kids. And I'm calling that friend that I told you about. I'm calling her. I said, can't you just let me go down? She is like 3 complexes over. Can I go to her house? No, you can't go to her house. Y'all can escort me. No, you can't. So I had to keep calling her. I called her about 10 times. She was not picking up. And the storyline to that, what she told me was she was talking to another guy and she had her other guy over or whatnot. So she had her phone silent. She happened to look down at her phone, and that wasn't nothing but God, because she happened to look at her phone. She ended up answering, and I'm crying, come get my kids right now. This, that, and the third. She flew down there, came and got them. And that's when, hey, I'm locked up. They won't let me out. They won't let me out. I'm locked up. They won't let me out. Oh, they won't let me out. But anyway, so they end up locking me up. I didn't go through the little thing where the handcuffs are like, I just complied. I complied because for one, I knew what it was. They done found that this man, they outsmarted. He outsmarted them. But with me, I had to get locked up. I got locked up. And at the time, I had just got my new little phone, my little Nokia, whatnot, got my new little phone, whatnot. And I did not remember nobody's number. So not only was I at the holding cell, because when I went there, you know, I remember, I never forget it, I had to use the bathroom. I remember asking these people because I was pregnant. I'm like, let me go and use can I please go use the bathroom? They let me use the bathroom because I was complying and everything. My kids were safe, so I didn't care. It's like, whatever, lock me up. They didn't even handcuff me tight or nothing. I just never been through that. I never been in the back of no police car or none of that. Like, I had when I, you know, when we went through the what do they call those? The curfew in Chicago, the police will take you to your house. Yeah, so I've been in a police car for things like that, but I never got arrested before. Like, that was some scary stuff. So they took me, you know, fingerprinted me. And the girl too, took her too. She just would have kept her mouth shut and said she didn't know what was going on. They wouldn't have never locked her up. I don't even know why she put herself in a situation to begin with. So basically, his friend was locked up because of him. I was locked up and she was locked up. And this nigga just free, y'all. Just free. He was just out. Now, y'all, when we was in there, she was in the whole cell, I was in the whole cell, and it was this other lady was in the whole cell. Now, I can't tell you it was no scary shit going on. Didn't nobody try to beat me up. I didn't have to bend over and cough. I didn't even go through that point. I didn't even get to that point where they took you out, took you to the county, and stripped you. I didn't go through all that. I didn't go through all that. Basically, I was just in there. I slept. And we were hungry or whatnot, and I ended up eating, and I was still in denial. Instead of me telling these people that I may be pregnant and I need to eat a little bit more, because I'm sure that pregnant women in jail still get seconds and stuff. I was fed a pregnant woman now at the time. I was fed, I'll never forget it, some applesauce, some cold pork and beans, and a bologna sandwich. I don't even think it was the sandwich. I think it was just the bologna itself, and that's what I ate. And I ate that like I ain't never had shit in my life, because that day, all that stemmed from the morning all the way to the evening. So when I was in there, I guess we went in there around, 1 o'clock. It was like 6 o'clock by the time I got out. When I say you was trying to ask this other lady what she was in there for, I think she was an immigrant or something, because she really couldn't understand us. She just said that she was going through cancer and things like that. I do remember that. And this is the thing. I was able to get out, but that girl wasn't. Do I really feel bad about that? Kinda, a little bit, but there was nothing I could do about that. Like, my family gonna come and get me. She need to call her people and tell them, hey, I'm in a band. And even my mom and them was like, man, we felt bad about that, but we had to scrap and scrape to get you out, to bail you out of jail. And we didn't know whether she was gonna go back for her court hearing and all that stuff. And you know, when you do that and you bond somebody out, you know how that go. If they don't go, then you owe the money or something like that. But anywho, I was out in 6 hours. I started to look a little bit crazy after like the 6th hour because I couldn't tell whether it was dark. I couldn't tell whether it was light. Where I was at, it was no window in there. It was the little toilet. I'm assuming I used it. I guess I blocked that out. But I'm assuming if I was pregnant, yes, I probably used that toilet. I think it was at one point, if I can remember, I think I did use that toilet. And it was a toilet just right there in the middle of the holding cell. You know, it's no privacy, none of that. I basically, I was about to cry. I was about to panic because I'm like, is anybody gonna come get me? Because I believe that my ex-husband ended up calling them and saying, hey, Camila's in jail, y'all need to go and get her. And they had came and got me. And when they came and got me, we went to McDonald's. I got me something to eat. I went and got my kids first because my children were at the friend's house. But eventually, like I said, the ex-husband so controlling and didn't like my friend like that. Ridiculous. My babies were with his friend. I mean, just crazy. I would rather for my children to be with somebody that I trust. Not saying that his friend done anything because he's a good person anyway. But, you know, he had records and shit going on with him. Like, why would I want my kids in that type of environment? But, you know, I went and got my kids. We went and we got something to eat, and they didn't see Indiana for a very long time. We stayed in Chicago, and that was that. I ended up going to court a couple days later, and yeah, I ended up going to court a couple days later, and they end up dropping my charges. But they did not drop the friend's charges. They kept talking about how, they kept calling him by my ex-husband's name. Like, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous, y'all. Like, that was about the craziest thing I have ever seen somebody do. I'm not gonna lie. A good friend at heart, but I don't think I could ever do that. I don't think I could ever do that for somebody because that was crazy. But they end up dropping my charges or whatnot, you know, and thank God for that because it didn't have to go that way for what I think harboring a fugitive or in bed. I forgot what it's called. See, that's how you know I am not with that record shit because I don't even know what my charges were, like what they were called, like, but they got dropped. They got dropped. They had something to do with harboring a fugitive or something like that, but they ended up getting dropped or whatnot. And yeah, we didn't see Indiana for a very long time. So that is my story time. That is my story time, y'all. You make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I am going to see y'all in the next Vlogmas. All right, bye, y'all.